Hey everybody, I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to the award-winning My Kind of Country right here on mkocradio.com. My guest tonight, you have heard his music a lot on our show lately. He's got a brand new album coming out, and he's getting ready to go over and do a big tour over in Europe, and he is very popular over there. We get a lot of requests for his music from our European listeners. He's the creator and co-host of the radio and TV show Music Row, and he's an award-winning Nashville-based singer-songwriter, top 40 artist, and we're glad to have him on the show tonight. Say hello to Scott Southworth. Scott, how are you tonight?
Wow, what an intro. Hey, Scott, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Pleasure to have you on the show. I'll tell you what, I absolutely love your music, and I am so glad to have a chance to share it with my listeners tonight.
Well, it is my pleasure, and it's nice to be heard over in Traverse City. I had some friends from there in Traverse City, a drummer actually that moved here several years ago, but always had a lot of really good things to say about your area and something about tart cherries. I don't know. He always cherries.
Oh yeah, I always had to send a big box of them to Jim Ed Brown when he was still with us. He would always call me up and say, "I got to have some cherries. Send me down some cherries." So I would send him some.
Well, man, taste.
I am curious. Who is your drummer friend?
Oh, his name was Tom Tobia.
Oh, I don't recognize the name. That's funny. I haven't ran into him at some point in time. I know a lot of the musicians up here. That's cool.
He was more of a rocker in Michigan, I believe, but he came here and he's been touring a lot with the Flat River Band. I don't know if you're familiar with.
Oh yeah,
those.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. He plays drums for them.
Okay, small world.
I'll tell you.
No doubt about it. Well, speaking of small worlds, you have a song out with a gentleman who I absolutely love, and you just cannot help but have a smile on your face every time you're around him, because he always does, and that's Mr. Bobby Marquez.
Bobby Marquez, let me tell you, that guy is the grumpiest fella. No. You're right. I mean, seriously, he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and I don't think I've ever seen him without a big smile on his face. So he's a great guy, and that song you're referring to, of course, is "I Ain't Leaving Town." And we my buddy and I, Heino, who's the co-host of the Music Row show, he and I wrote that song kind of as a joke. It was never meant to be recorded. We actually went in saying, "Let's write something they'll never play on the radio," And so I started playing it around town, really just for my songwriter friends, and everybody they'd immediately start singing along. So I just, for the heck of it, I started playing it outside of Nashville, and I'll be darned if people didn't sing along no matter where I was. And then one time we were at a songwriters festival, and Bobby Marquez was in the audience, and he was just falling out of his chair laughing as I was playing the song and singing at the top of his lungs. So I said, you know what, I think I am going to record this, and I think I'd like Bobby to sing it with me, and he jumped right on it.
That's cool. That's cool. It looks like you guys had a blast doing a video. It looks like you just kind of walked the streets of Nashville and just whatever happened, right?
I mean, Scott, if you could have only been there, you would still be laughing, because there was, we are low tech the way I tend to do things, and so we had a guy with his camera sitting in a wheelchair with two people walking backwards, carrying the wheelchair, rolling it, so he could just kind of be filming us as we're walking towards him. And people were tripping and running into trees, and it was just the funniest thing. We laughed so much, and then I just called up a bunch of my friends and said, "I'll buy the beer. You come to Bobby's and come have some fun with me on this video." And the result is what you see, and it was an absolute hoot. We just had a great time.
Oh, it certainly looks like it. I can't imagine it would have turned out any better. The subject matter of the song, and the seriousness of it, but yet the lightheartedness of it. You just captured the whole thing, and I think it's fabulous. I love it.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad. I hope everybody else does too.
Well, absolutely. We've been playing it a lot on the show, and I'm getting positive reviews. And so there you go. You got a song you never thought would get played on the radio, and I'm playing it all the time. So there you have it, folks.
Take it.
Absolutely. Well, Bobby is great, and so is Jennifer. I had a chance to meet both of them back in March at the North American Country Music Association International Awards, and Jennifer won the PR Artist of the Year, and Bobby had just won his award from the Academy of Western Artists down there in Texas, and got to spend some time with them. They were just the best people, and we were talking about Scott Southworth, and I thought, I got to listen to this guy, and I'm real glad I got you on the show tonight because I love your music.
Well, thank you very much. And you know what's funny about you mentioned that he won that award. When we went in to record the vocals for this song, he had drove up and he was on the phone. Bobby, he being Bobby, he was on the phone and he got off the phone and he had just been notified that he had won the Texas CMA Male Vocalist of the Year. And then probably a month after that, well, I guess 2 or 3 months after that is when he won the AWA award. So kind of great. I mean, I got this award-winning country music singer, and I didn't even plan for that to happen. Lucky guy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, they are great people. I think the absolute world of them, and I do a lot of work with Jennifer, and they're just top notch. We just had a blast with them, and it seems like you're the same way. You seem like you're just a very genuine, good person to be around. So I applaud you for that.
Well, thank you. I hope to meet you soon. You got to come down to Nashville.
Oh, I'll be back down. I've been there twice already this year, and I guarantee I'll have another trip before the year is out. It seems like I can't stay away, but that's all right. I love it down there.
Good. Well, holler at me. Let me know and bring charities.
Absolutely, I will do that. Well, the new album comes out on May the 14th. It's called Hey Hillbilly Singer, and you can pre-order it right now at iTunes, and you get a free download of I Ain't Leaving Town if you do that. And, of course, you'll be able to get the album on scottsouthworth.com, and, of course, Amazon and iTunes and Apple Music and CD Baby and all those usual cyberspace subjects that we have out there. And, of course, your favorite local record shop will be carrying it. And, Scott, I want to talk to you about the title song a little bit. Give me some background on this one, Hey Hillbilly Singer.
Well, the song kind of came out of nowhere. We were recording... I was in recording what would end up being the second song on the CD, and when you're in a Nashville session, what all the players, when we get started on a song, all of the pickers will be sitting in the control room, and we'll play my really rough guitar vocal that I record on my iPhone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they were listening to the song, and Brent Mason, who plays guitar on every song on the CD, he came into the studio, and he said, "Hey, who's that hillbilly singer?" When he heard my guitar vocal, and so we started laughing, and he came over and said, "Hey." And after the session, I'm driving home, and I just kept thinking, "Hey, who's that hillbilly singer? Hey, hillbilly singer." And probably by the time I got home, I'd written the chorus, and then I called my buddy up, Mark Allen Barnett, who wrote Too Much Blood in My Alcohol Level for David Ball.
Yeah, oh, I love that song.
And me too. He's a good friend and a great writer, and so I typically write by myself, but this one I was getting stuck on with some stuff, so I just called him up and we wrapped it up, and that's the story. And once we wrote it, I said, boy, that would be a great title for a CD. So that's how I decided to make it the title track.
Well, there it is. That's great. And of the 11 songs on here, you wrote 8 songs and co-wrote the other 3. So congratulations to you. That's quite a feat to have an entirely original album. That's really cool.
Well, either that or it means I don't play well with others.
Well, yeah, that could be too.
I like your version better, Scott.
Yeah, we'll go with that. You'll go with that. And this will be your 4th album release. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. I've actually there's another one out there, but it's been discontinued for years. But a few people might have the first album, but it's my 4th that I've put out there for folks.
Okay. Well, I wasn't kidding when I say I get a lot of requests for your music from my European listeners, and you have a tremendous following over there, and I understand you're going to be doing a tour over there shortly, too.
I am. I'm heading out on the 18th of this month, and I'm doing a few dates in the UK, and going to do a BBC interview over there as well. And then I pick my wife up. She's flying into London Heathrow, and I pick her up, and we're hopping on a train, and we're going down to France to do some shows in France, including the American Journeys Festival in Cambrai, which is over by Belgium, I think just south of Belgium. But yeah, my wife decided, look, you're not going to France without me, Buster.
Amen to that. Well, that's
so we're looking forward to it.
absolutely. There's, I'll tell you what, they love real country music over in Europe, and it's amazing how many listeners that we get on our show from over there. And I'm always amazed at the requests they come up with. So they're listening, they're paying attention, you know.
I've been amazed. I mean, I had no idea when I put out my last album. I really didn't. I just put it out there and didn't give it a second thought. And boy, Europe just gobbled it up, and I had no idea that they loved traditional country music the way they do. I mean, and to go over there, like last year, I toured in Ireland, the UK, Germany, and Switzerland, and to go into these pubs or these performance places and venues, and have people there that are singing the lyrics back to you, and or requesting deep cuts on the CD that have never been singles. It's amazing. I mean, I really thought the only person that knew the lyrics to my songs was my mom, and here I am, 5,000 miles away, 4,000 miles away, and there's people singing my songs to me. It's amazing there. I love it.
That is really cool. And you have written a lot of songs for other artists too.
I have. I've had an awful lot of independent cuts. This year was pretty special because I had my first major label bluegrass cut off a great artist, and we just that was a big treat for me. That was a big surprise, and I wrote it with Jerry Salley. Do you know Jerry?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he and I have started writing lately, and we've come up with some pretty cool songs. But that one got picked up really quickly. It's called Liar's Moon.
Oh, I like that. You have some great titles. Just from the title before you even listen to the song, you're like, I know I'm going to like this. And one of the ones that I really you talk about jukeboxes and everything, and everybody says put another quarter in the jukebox, and then you've got one called Put Another Quarter in the Ride.
You like that?
I like that. That got me before I even listened to it. And then after I listened to it, I'm like, yep, that's it. I love that. Tell me a little bit about that song.
Absolutely. Well, I have been married to my wife for 26 years.
Wow, congratulations.
And as I was approaching my 25th anniversary, our 25th anniversary, I was really trying to write her an anniversary song. But the problem is, and if you've listened to a lot of my stuff, you know that I don't write a whole lot of nice, sweet love songs.
Yeah.
That's not my bag. So I tried and I just couldn't get a song that I liked. They end up getting a little too schmaltzy for me. But a buddy of mine from high school also had his 25th anniversary, and he wrote a little post on Facebook to his wife and said, it's been amazing. Let's put another quarter in the ride. And I was like, oh, there you go. That's what I needed. Something clever to play off of. And the song came right out after that. And I've sent it to them and thanked them for the great idea.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I love that. There's a lot of songs I really like on the album, but I think the one I've been gravitating towards is called Honky Tonk and Me.
Oh, yeah. That's the one that we were recording the day Brent Mason came up and said, "Who's that hillbilly singer?"
Oh, okay. Cool.
So I'm glad you like that one. Thank you. And that was really, I'd love to say there's this amazing story behind the song, but I drive a lot. I'm all over the Southeast, and so I spend a lot of time in my car, and sometimes I'll just get a little phrase will come in my head, and before I know it, I've written a song, and that was one of them. Just the whole idea of, you bring out the you hear a lot of these songs about how you bring out the better man in me, or you make me a better person, and and I get that thought of, well, maybe I don't want to be a better person. Maybe I want to be out in the honky tonks and have fun, and so I want a woman that brings a honky tonk out in me, and hence the song.
Oh, it's a good solid country song, and I love it. And I really like your songwriting style. You know, it seems like you use a good hook line and then just build it from there. And I love that style. I always have. And another song on the album too. And again, this reminds me of the old Hank Williams song, "I'll Never Get Out of This World Alive." And yours is called "Nobody Leaves This World Alive."
That one I wrote with the same guy that I wrote "I Ain't Leaving Town" with, my friend Heino Moeller, who was also my co-host on the Music Row show, and he and the whole concept of the song was, I just noticed on Facebook, and I'm sure you see this too, and all your listeners do. Ever since the election, and even before, as the election was happening, people were just crazy on social media. You know, if you vote this way, unfriend me, or if you feel this way, I don't want to be your friend.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking, what on earth has happened to people that you know, we base our friends on how we vote? You know, in the grand scheme of things, you know, we're all going to live, we're all going to die. Let's just get along and have some fun, and that's the concept of the song. And I'll tell you, that one I really wanted to be a duet with Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard.
Oh man!
And I pitched it. I did get it pitched to Merle shortly before he passed, so I have no idea if he heard it or not. But in my imagination, he did hear it. So as far as I'm concerned, he did give it a listen. But I have no idea if he did or not. But wouldn't that have been a great song for them?
I have no doubt that if they would have heard the song and were able to do it, that they both would have been right on top of that. That sounds like it's right in their wheelhouse. I could hear Merle singing that song without a doubt. That would have been really cool. Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Well, the album is called Hey Hillbilly Singer. It's available May 14th. You can pre-order it right now on iTunes and get the free download of I Ain't Leaving Town. And you can go to scottsouthworth.com, and Scott's other music is available there. And you can catch up with him on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and all those places. And, of course, if you get a chance to go see Scott, and this is especially to our European listeners, he's going to be heading over your way. So make sure you get out and enjoy a night of real country music, that's for sure. And we're going to be playing a lot of this music on our show, Scott, and I really want to thank you for taking the time to be on the show. And anytime that we can help get the word out, we're there for you, man.
Well, I want to thank you for everything you do to keep traditional country music alive for the people that want to hear it. You know, it's a wonderful thing. I've been noticing this last couple of years as all this has taken shape for me. I didn't realize all the great stations in the United States and all over Europe that really do support those independent artists and those people that are still playing the music that they grew up with and want to hear and want to keep playing. So you guys are wonderful. Thank you very much.
Well, it's an honor to do it, and it's always been my life passion of real country music. Has always been my thing, and it's a pleasure when I am able to present a newer artist or independent artist to my listeners out there, and it's you know, the listeners are keeping it all going. So as long as I got the listeners, I'm going to keep right on and playing it.
Well, that's you know, you said newer artists. I have to tell you, country music people did a great review of the album, but they called me a budding singer-songwriter. and my 24-year-old son said, "Budding?" He said, "Dad, I got bad news. You're wilting. Budded a long time."
Wow.
So I guess I'm a budding songwriter.
Well, you can always depend on your kids to keep it real. They'll reel you right back in every time, you know.
Oh, nothing but respect from those kids. Let me tell you.
I love it. Well, Scott.
Hey man, thank you so much. I've enjoyed visiting with you.
Oh, me too. Anytime. You're welcome on my show anytime, brother. I had a great time talking with you, and I'm going to keep playing your music. And again, thanks to Jennifer for getting this set up for us. And be sure to say hi to Bobby when you talk to him, and safe travels over in Europe, and we'll be keeping track of you.
Yeah, man. Will you holler at me when you come to Nashville? Okay.
I certainly will, and I'll bring cherries too.
All right.
All right, that's Scott Southworth on My Kind of Country. We're going to play some of Scott's great music from the new album coming up, and it's Hey Hillbilly Singer. You can pre-order it right now on iTunes and go to scottsouthworth.com. Scott, thanks again for being on My Kind of Country.
Thank you, Scott.